I'm going to go ahead and get started. I definitely want to be cognizant of everyone's time, and I don't think this workshop should take longer than probably about half an hour. So thank you for coming and joining today. I know it's a super busy time, summer's eve, there's a lot of things going on. And so just want to start out saying I really appreciate you taking the time to be here and to learn about all of the resources and services that FSU Libraries offers to support students in all different ways and at different points of their academic careers. So the focus of this workshop today is really for you to learn more about how we can bring the libraries to you. Right now, our physical buildings are closed. So even though the buildings are not available, the library is open, and the resources, our library staff are here to help you. And I hope that if you can walk away with anything today, it's also just knowing that the library is here to support you. We really try and pride ourselves on acting as a partner to students. You know, we're not your professor, we're not your instructor, we don't give grades. We're really here to help and collaborate. So we're going to talk about lots of different ways the library can help you find the information you need. We're going to talk about evaluating information, and we're also going to do a little activity at the end. So my name is Lindsey Wharton. I'm a librarian here at Florida State University. I'm actually the Extended Campus and Distance Services Librarian. So I've been giving a version of this workshop particularly to our distance learning students as well as our students studying abroad, because it's really important when you can't visit the physical libraries. I think that you have a little bit of a different relationship with the library, but there is so much that we offer just right through the library website. And so I'm going to focus on all that's available to you. Please feel free to use the chat for questions. And I want to make this as interactive as you would like it would be. So it's a small group, and I hope that you're able to take something away and learn something about the libraries in a way that can help you and your success here at FSU. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about evaluating information and what that means specifically about the peer review process and peer-reviewed information and context, and how developing context around information is probably more important than ever. We will discuss citing your sources in Zotero. Citations and formatting is an important part of the research process, and libraries have lots of resources and support services here to make sure that you're properly citing your sources. We'll talk about resources, services, support that the libraries offer, as well as we're going to go over the library website and show a little bit of a demo about how to conduct a search in the library database. And the overarching goal is also thinking critically about information. I want you to think about all of the information you encounter in your everyday life and how do you evaluate that. More than ever, there's talks about misinformation, fake news, but what does that really mean? And how does that affect your relationship with information sources that you encounter in everyday life? And also just know what's available to you and how you can get help through the library. So how do you evaluate information? You can feel free to use the chat if you would like to tell me, how do you evaluate information? When you see a piece of information, whether it's on the local news or shared on social media or somewhere you see it online, posted somewhere, or even on your syllabi, how do you evaluate that piece of information? What do you look at to see if you think it is a good piece of information? The source material. Yeah, so what, if you're seeing this online, where is the information coming from? Is it a reputable news source, or is it from a site you've never heard about, or maybe somebody's WordPress? Reputation. Is the author an expert in the field? Whether it comes from centers, from a research place, from an institution, where it's coming from. Yeah, those are terrific answers. And exactly, I think we all look at that and we're trying to see, is this author have the credibility to be saying and making the claims that they're claiming? So one of the things we've always taught in libraries is the CRAP method. And so 5 points to always look at when evaluating information is currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. So what are the author's credentials? Do they have a PhD and they've done research and written their dissertation in this area? What is the purpose of the source? Is the source trying to sell you something or make an argument a certain way? Who's the intended audience? It's even important to look at, is this meant for a much more general audience or just a really particular audience? What's the scope? Are they just looking in one area of the world or maybe a specific timeline? It could be from 15 years ago, which even a lot of topics aren't going to have the same relevancy. Is the information biased? That's a hard one. Bias is hard. Even identifying our own bias can be really hard. Who published the source and how current is the source? We also talk about libraries about scholarly information versus popular information a lot. So scholarly sources are written by and for researchers, faculty, and scholars. They're using a lot more technical language than you would see like in a news source, and it's usually longer articles with research. Sometimes we're talking like 40-page articles. And it includes full citations, and they're often found in peer-reviewed journals. And a peer-reviewed journal is probably the highest quality of information, the way that we've always seen it, where it has to be assessed by a group of experts in the field who are actually acting as reviewers for that journal. Popular information is written by journalists or writers for a general audience. It uses language easily understood by the public, and it tends to be shorter. So even things like New York Times articles are popular sources, while a scholarly journal would be something like Nature. So one of the things that we've struggled with as librarians, as people, especially in the last, 5 years, is that information has become more complex, more difficult to evaluate than ever before. Even the most experts in a field, it can be really hard to decipher what is good information, what is bad information. We've seen the peer review process break down at times, and peer review journals publish not good information, where we've seen social media and Twitter be actually the breaking news on certain events happening around the world. So I think that we're having to look at information differently, and we're having to talk about information differently. Of course, all information should be evaluated, but I think critically thinking about the way that information is used right now is so important in your journey, in your scholarship. So now we're going to talk about providing context to sources. Lots of different sources have context all around them. So a very important seminal work in a field, a scholarly book, maybe from 40 years ago, we need to look at that critically. That's maybe going to have information that has incredible bias. Even if it's important to the field, it was written in a certain time from a certain viewpoint. And once again, social media can be very useful, even in an academic setting. We want to look at critically evaluating information, not just evaluating using the CRAP method, and not just asking these sort of simple, straightforward questions, but thinking in a much more critical and complex way. not just looking at the difference of quality of information, scholarly versus popular, but what is the function of the information? How does it inform? How is it shaped? What place does it have in scholarship, in the information landscape? And I really think it's important for all of us to engage with all kinds of text, from Twitter and Reddit to blog posts to books to all the way to scholarly information. Having that context and those different sources, the different viewpoints, is going to help inform a well-rounded position, where peer-reviewed scholarly texts are always going to be an important part, especially when it comes to academic papers. You're going to be asked by your professors to include peer-reviewed scholarly texts on the majority of your assignments. But I just want to point out that's sort of like a tool in your toolbox, but in your everyday life, you're going to actually be engaging with information that's not scholarly all the time. So thinking about information in a holistic way is really going to benefit you and help you develop the skills you need to navigate the information landscape. So why use the libraries? How does the libraries play into all this? So you may have seen before, when you're on the open web, you come to journals and you get to a paywall. Almost all scholarly journals are paywalled and incredibly expensive to access articles. So the libraries and your tuition at FSU pays for you to have access to all of these journals and to all of these scholarly texts. And it's really important for you to utilize and get used to reading and engaging with these materials, no matter what your field is. It's just using the libraries is going to provide a more reliable content. We're not Google. Google has, of course, its benefits. I still think like Wikipedia is amazing, one of the most amazing places on the internet. But you know, anyone can go in and edit a Wikipedia article at any time. And the library, we curate the content that is in our catalog, whether it's online or in the shelves in our libraries. So just knowing you can trust a little bit more using the information. We also provide subject, course-specific databases and guides. So, you know, when you search anything on Google and you get like 1.2 billion hits, like that's great and everything, but also it's nice to have some guidance when you're looking for something for a particular assignment. So having subject-specific databases and tools can be really useful. And you have partners in librarians and library staff during your research and when you're looking for information. When you're out on the open web, a lot of times you're all on your own. So I think that having that support is really important as well. So where does it start? It all starts at lib.fsu.edu. This is the library website. And the library website is truly your portal to the library more than ever right now. But the majority of the resources that we collect are electronic now. So we're buying many more ebooks than we're buying physical books. And all of that is available to you anytime, anywhere, right through the library website. You'll connect to the library and authenticate the same way you would connect to signing into Canvas or your email or My FSU. So it's going to look the same sign-in. You'll use the same credentials. You have librarians who are here to help you. On our library website, we actually have an Ask a Librarian chat and email service. This chat service is available to you right now until Monday through Friday till 9 p.m. with limited hours on the weekends. And we're going to actually extend that in the fall, possibly until midnight. And this is actually you chatting with somebody at the library, whether you're having trouble finding a journal article or even just want some suggestions of databases to use. Any questions you have about research, about the library, someone there to chat with, really fast, really on-demand service and support. We offer videos and tutorials that go over very quickly how to find a peer-reviewed article, how to use this service, how do you use Otero. So lots of little easy do-it-yourself learn it yourself options. LibGuides, our research guides, are created by our librarians, and they can be department specific. So we have a humanities LibGuide, but we also have ones that are just course specific. And the really nice thing about the LibGuides is they're going to provide you recommended resources to use for your department, your area, your topic. Library websites can be a bit overwhelming. It's a lot. So having these research guides parse down things right into your area can provide you a one-stop shop for what you're looking for. And your subject librarians. So each department is assigned one or more subject librarians who are familiar with the curriculum, familiar with the faculty, familiar with the research. I have worked with the College of Social Work for over 5 years now, and I do consultations with social work students almost every single day. It is one of my very favorite parts of my job. I've developed fantastic relationships with a lot of these students who I work with throughout their entire career at FSU. And if they are having trouble with a source, having trouble with a database, a question about citations, they can reach out to me. And developing a relationship with your subject librarian, once again, it's like a partnership thing. It's just a great way to have some support navigating all of this. The library is going to be probably your best source at finding peer-reviewed sources. Whether you're using our OneSearch discovery tool, which searches through everything, or you're using a subject-specific database, you're going to be able to limit to scholarly peer-reviewed journals using the search filters. And that's going to help you right from the get-go limit your results to just looking for peer-reviewed sources if that's what your assignment calls for. We also have most used databases or subject-specific databases, so it's going to make it really easy just to get started on your research without wondering, where should I be searching? Citing your sources. Citations and formatting can feel like such a pain when you're doing all this work on a paper, and we're trying to help and give you the tools and support to make it as painless as possible. It's really important to cite sources because it helps you become part of the scholarly conversation, where you're taking in the voices that have come before you in your research path, and you're putting them together, putting your voice as part of the conversation, and making sure that you're citing the other voices that you're using. So giving credit to the creator and allowing your reader to locate the sources. It demonstrates accuracy, reliability, strengthens your work, and we offer lots of tools, guides, resources on different citation management support. One of the things I suggest to all students, whether you're brand new or you're working on your dissertation, is the free open source Zotero.org. It is a citation management tool that can help you organize your sources, create bibliographies, simple to use, lots of fantastic tutorials on how to use it. I highly suggest it if you're interested in looking for a citation management software. All right, so now we are actually going to go to the library website. I'm going to give you a super basic tour of what the website looks like and talk a little bit about different options of searching. So here it is. Here's the library website, right at lib.fsu.edu. You can feel free to pull up the library website as well and walk through it as I'm talking about it. So we do have, as I mentioned, our chat right here. If I click this little Ask a Librarian button, the chat box will pop up and I'll be able to chat with a librarian. Right from the get-go, you can see we have buttons leading to our hours. We have many different campus libraries with different hours. So our main is Strozier, but Dirac is another, our STEM, so Science and Technology and Engineering and Math library, and other smaller branch libraries as well. Information about our course reserves collection, so our physical textbook collection we keep on campus. We have equipment and software that we can loan out. We also have lots of different study spaces, so from individual study rooms to large group study rooms, our citation management information that I spoke about, as well as the subject-specific research guides. We are doing online tutoring right now, so that's something you can find more about at tutoring information, as well as how to contact us. So right from the get-go, you'll see there's a lot of options for searching right here in this box. The all search is going to search through articles, books, everything we have online, as well as what we have in our physical collections. So if you're just getting started on a search, the all search can be a great place to start. The articles tab is just going to be searching through many of our databases, just looking for articles. You'll see right here, we have filters and automatically peer reviewed, full text online, and published census checked. So right from the start, you can use this to select your date. If you're only looking for articles in the last 5 years, you can use this. And there's lots of other ways to search as well, like if you're just looking for a specific journal. Our books and more search is going to search books as well as ebooks. We have over 1 billion ebooks in our collection. We have a massive collection of ebooks. So, you know, lots of books available to you even when our physical libraries are closed, even though, as you can see, curbside pickup is available right now as well. Databases. The way I like to think about databases, the way I've been explaining them lately is like if you kind of think about Spotify for articles. Like it has a lot of things. Does it have everything? No, but it's a great way to find stuff and to access stuff, and you're going to go into the database and find all the full text articles. You'll see you can search database by name, or you can search database by type. So the subject, type, most used. Really quickly, let's look at the databases by most used. If you're just getting started on research, this can be a great place to start. Academic Search Complete is one of our most popular databases. It is a very broad and multidisciplinary database. So another great place to start, like when we teach the ENC 2135, we really focus on Academic Search Complete. You can see we also have Access World News here, which is it's articles from over 4,500 newspapers. So this can be from tiny little local papers to, you know, big papers all over the world. Business Source Complete, JSTOR is another one many people have heard of, PsycInfo, SciTech, Web of Science, Google Scholar. You can actually link your library account to Google Scholar. So you're able to search using Google Scholar, but it's going to give you access to the articles through the library, and make sure you don't hit those paywalls I talked about before. We also offer databases by subject. So once again, these were selected by subject librarians. You can see the very first one is Research Starters if you're just looking on getting started. But say you are a business, you are in hospitality, looking to do some research for your first research paper. If you click on hospitality, it's going to show you what are your best bets for hospitality research, Business Source Complete, and Hospitality Tourism Complete. So this is a great place to go. The databases by subject, it's going to give you really easy and recommended resources for your searching. So I'm going to start and just really quickly conduct a search using Academic Search Complete, and just kind of give you an overview of searching in a database and a couple tips that I use to give me the best search results possible. So I'm going to enter my FSU ID and my password here, and then sign in, once again, same that you would use to get into Canvas or your email. Depending on the vendor, the database platform will look a little bit different, but they all look somewhat similar. So you can see here that we have different little search boxes here that are connected by and, or, and not. And, or, and not is Boolean operators, and using them is for Boolean searching. So I'm going to demonstrate it in a second, but I highly suggest getting familiar using and or not, because it's going to make your searches easier and allow you to either broaden your searches or narrow your searches depending on your results and what you're looking for. You can see right from the landing page, I can select full text and scholarly peer-reviewed journals, and there's lots of different other options about, are you looking for a particular document type? Are you looking for a particular language or publication type? Maybe you want to look at when something was published. You can even click this apply related words, but we're just going to keep it simple and just do full text and scholarly peer-reviewed journals. So I want to, in social work, we look a lot at homelessness and the factors and issues that circle around homelessness. So I want to look for homelessness and teenagers. So look at teen homelessness. So I'll just start with homeless and teenagers. When I'm using the Boolean operator and, it's saying both of these words need to appear in the search. So I received 400 results, and I also had full text and scholarly peer-reviewed journals. So the very first one, when I get a search, I'm going to see the title of the article, Rationale and Design of a Brief Substance Use Intervention for Homeless Adolescents. I can see the authors as well as the journal it was published in, when it was published, volume, issue, page numbers, and the DOI. I can also see the subject headings that were attached to this. And subject headings can be really useful because they can also help you think of other keywords to use in your searching. If I click on the PDF full text, it's going to pull up right away the PDF of the article. All of these PDFs will look a little different because it looks like what it was actually published in the journal. And you can see that here is the article, which I am able, using these tools, to download, to print, to save. So that's pretty much how you're going to access an article through a database. If I wanted more information, I could click the title of the article and it would pull up the subject terms, the keywords, and an abstract. An abstract is really useful because it's like a short summary of an article. And instead of having to read a 20-page article, you can just read the abstract. The abstract is not something that would actually be cited in your paper, but it would be something that you could use as you were browsing and finding results. So one thing I wanted to demonstrate with Boolean searching is it can be really useful to use synonyms. If you're using keywords, and you may notice that teenager may not pull up anything. Like right here, I'm seeing adolescent, children. So let's use some different synonyms and see how that changes our results. So I'll say or adolescent, or youth, or children. So using or for synonyms is always going to expand your search. And I can see that because my results from 400 just went to 3,111. So much expanded my results by just using different keywords. If I wanted to narrow my search farther, I would use another and. So what if I said and just look at this issue of youth homelessness in Florida? That narrows my results to 40 results. So you can see that by using and, I'm requiring the search to bring me back more specific results by adding more and more keywords, where or and adding synonyms is going to expand the number of results by making it more and more broad. And I don't want to go into the demo anymore because I really want you to just be able to explore the library on your own. And if you're ever having any issues or needing help, knowing you can use the chat or contact your subject librarian. So we will go back to the library homepage. So I do have one thing I wanted to do together. I know it's a super small group, but I do have a really short little activity that I thought we could try for searching. You can see here, there is a bit.ly on the slide. I am also going to type it in the chat. It is bit.ly FSU Lib workshop activity. And so that's going to allow you to pull it up on your own, and that should bring you to this Google Doc. What I want you to do really quickly, and this is really just to get you thinking about how information is shaped. And right here, we have a graphic of the information cycle. So how does the information cycle work? When a newsworthy event occurs, we hear about it sometimes within a couple minutes, whether that's on social media or it's on the news. Within a few days, we learn more about it in the popular media, maybe a newspaper or a magazine. About 6 months to a year later, we'll see academic sources such as scholarly journals begin to publish about it. A scholarly journal is never going to happen about a super current event because of the peer review process takes time. And then a year or more later, we're going to start to see books, official reports, documentary films about it. So here we're seeing this way, the cycle, the information is moving and changing as it comes to other sources. So I chose a somewhat current event, but not too current, and the Russian government interfering in the 2016 US presidential election. So I would like you to try and locate a source that assesses this event. I don't want it just to be any source. It's a source that you would maybe use in an assignment. It wouldn't have to be like a final paper. It doesn't have to be peer reviewed, but you can choose whether you want to use a social media post, a news post, a scholarly source. So actually go to the library database and find a book or an article or a film. And I want you to select the source if you can, and you can just post the link right here in the doc. And I'm going to give us just about, I'll say 5 minutes. So we'll come back around at 11:42, and we'll just really quickly discuss what are the values, perspectives, processes that shape the source, and how has the discourse over the event changed as time passed? How did things go from right when it happened to now? So we'll meet back here at 11:42. I'm going to mute and I'm going to turn off my camera, but I'll be back soon. And feel free to use the chat box and type in this document. This is just our document for today, so mess it up however you would. And so once again, just bringing it back, I just want to also put my email back up. And I, once again, really appreciate you taking the time, coming and learning about the library. And I hope that you're walking away knowing that the library is here to support you and work with you. And there's lots of resources available to you. So if you ever need more help, feel free to reach out to me or reach out to your subject librarian, and we're more than happy to help. Wonderful. I'm so glad you found it helpful. Thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to working with you. So looking forward to the fall. I hope that you both have a wonderful summer.